Hashtag no music, no intro. Training camp full speed ahead. Saints Block Party podcast brunch. West Coast brunch was yesterday. A lot going on, Ryan. Lot going on. I want to start with yesterday. I want to start with the brunch that went amazingly. The people that was able to come to it, thank you so much. It was great. It was incredible. We had our partners there. It was such a beautiful experience. Sherm came through acting a fool, and it was dope. Daniel and his family. It really was such a beautiful experience, and in terms of like when we talk about what we're building, like that's a perfect example. The draft meetup was a perfect example. The first meetup last year for the Raiders is a perfect example of the community that we're building that, and it was something special, man. It truly was.
I mean, man, I was just so jealous I couldn't be there. But just looking at the pictures and the videos, and just everybody just having a good time, bro. These my dudes, man. Sherm, Dan, London, Miguel, like these are day ones right here, man.
Right.
So just seeing them, it like hit me right here, bro. Like just seeing them having a good time, dress fly. You out here with the pink suit, soft pink, with the G Nikes to match, what we call them G Nikes. Flossy watch, killing them on the in Malibu with the Pacific in the background, bro. That's some entourage type shit right there, man.
Listen, we have been to that Mastros in Malibu numerous times, and because of where it is, because it's on the ocean, so there's many Mastros in LA, but there's not a better Mastros in LA than the one in Malibu, strictly for the views. I've been at that Mastros numerous times. If you don't come correct at that Mastros, person of color, like you got to bring with that type of people, bro. Like when you of that ilk, or you're at least at a place where people of that ilk are located, bro. If you ain't coming correct, you ain't coming right, or you can look that funny. I'm black in Malibu, so I'm gonna look that funny anyway. But it was beautiful. So if you haven't checked it out, please do. You could go and check it out at saintsblockparty.com. And obviously, Ryan and I are really putting emphasis and really trying to record and do more video podcasts. Obviously, we have podcasts, but we also have a YouTube channel. So we're at Saints Block Party Podcast on YouTube. If you have not went to the channel, please do like, subscribe, watch our videos. It's funny, if you go back to any of the videos uploaded from 2022 to watching something like this, you'd be like, whoa, niggas done upgraded a bit. So I mean, that's ultimately the goal, and I told this to everyone that was there yesterday. It was like, we really feel like this is just like the beginning. Like this is just the start of something special that we're really trying to build and cultivate. So big shout out to everyone who came yesterday. I don't know how often we'll do something like that, because it is, a pretty pricey endeavor. And I said to our listeners, to our supporters yesterday, our goal is hopefully in 2 or 3 years, if we're hosting one of these, that we're doing so well as a brand, as a podcast, as a company, that it's on us. Like that's the goal that we're hoping to get to. And I know that with hard work and the way we grind, that we'll be able to get there. But go check out the pictures. Retweet the tweet on Twitter. I'm not calling it anything else than that. It's on Instagram. I shared it on Threads. I wasn't going to do an actual Threads post, bro. I just
keep forgetting about Threads.
That's what I'm saying. No, there's too much. But I do have something special planned. we kind of went round and with the camera and asking people of how they, came across our podcast and what led them to join in the community, and it was just really insightful and just so beautiful to hear. So I plan on creating something out of that, some content out of that, but bear with me, it's going to be extremely busy this entire month of
Yeah.
August for me. Who thought? Oh, it was London. London thought that you and I were an item because he didn't know how I looked on Twitter. All he saw was like the Dawson's Creek stuff. So first he thought I was a woman, and then he realized I wasn't a woman, that I was a male. He just thought me.
I know you saw like the music takes and be like, man,
Yeah,
this guy
exactly.
just some white chick.
Anyhow, that aside, it just kind of goes to show what our community is about. The fact that Wednesday, I'm going with my daughter. I'm meeting Dan with his wife and his 2 kids at Disneyland. We're going to spend the day at Disneyland together. Friday, it's the Taylor Swift concert. Like, these are just connections and things that we've built in a fairly short amount of time, but it doesn't feel like it's a short amount of time. It's feel like, I've known Dan and Mike and whoever else from the UK for such a long time. And this is just sometimes when you found like your home, when you found like your people. And yesterday was just a re-emphasis of like, this is it. Like, these are our people and everything. So thank y'all for the support so much. We appreciate y'all. We couldn't do what we do without y'all. Miguel, I gave him some love on social media. I want to give Miguel some like love on the pod and just on the video. Our day one, bro, like our first Patreon from day one made me feel old as shit because he said that, he was listening to, I believe Miguel was listening to me and Nick when we were doing the Saints Talk podcast, and he started off by saying like I was running around, I was doing some runs as a student at UCLA. Man, Miguel is a licensed therapist now, bro. Like, I got some game in the podcast. That made me feel old.
That's crazy.
Yes, bro. Anyway, but let's talk about some Saints. We got the pads coming on. It's funny, we recorded that episode on Trevor Penning on Thursday, and then like Friday, like we kind of alluded to, man was back out there, which is good. Like, it
was good, yeah. Like, yeah.
It's not a bad thing, but there's been some.
Glad to be wrong.
Yes, and
for now,
for now, we'll get into that component of the offensive line. But there's been some interesting things that's happened, these last couple of days. Excuse me, on training camp. So we got essentially Friday, Sunday, and today. Pads came on as of today on Monday. You popping pads? Are you doing something else over there, Ryan? Like,
it sounds the same, I think.
just gotta ask. I'll start with this. I'm gonna start with 2 things that's kind of caught my eye and attention. One, Derek Carr just seems to be like, we talked about kind of like that ease he kind of brought to the offense and like that sense of reassurance. But I know it's just clips, bro. I know, but it's just like, got to squint my eye. Like, is this Derek Carr? And I'm not trying to even say like he looks good just because we had Andy Dalton or we went through Trevor Siemian or whatever. Man, he looks like a damn. It's early in training camp, but he looks like a damn good quarterback, and the Saints may have like lucked their way into having someone as their signal caller when they desperately needed it the most.
Which is crazy because I was watching a video on YouTube a couple of weeks ago, and it was kind of drawing a parallel between Saints bringing in Drew Brees and Saints bringing in Carr. First, I'm just like, come on now, like, let's not draw that parallel. It's
Please don't.
Like the luck Saints had getting Drew Brees coming off a shoulder was just crazy. But when I watched the video, it was kind of interesting because when you look at Carr, he was kind of always underrated a little bit with the Raiders. Went through a plethora of offensive coordinators, head coaches. You always saw something there, but never complete. And it kind of reminds you a little bit of Drew Brees, with the Chargers, even though he had shorter time with the Chargers. And then they both did leave their last team kind of unceremoniously. Drew Brees with the injury, Derek Carr getting benched more for financial reasons where they just didn't feel the money matched the production or whatever,
Right.
or what they thought he could be. And I think there is something there. And even Derek Carr said earlier this offseason, he felt like I don't think he lit a fire on him, but it was kind of a wake up call for him. He got to be on it. He got to be on his stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like it just kind of reinvigorated him as like, man, like this thing could be taken away from me. So in the instant, and I think it was a perfect situation for him to come in. Like I talked ad nauseum before we signed him that look, when he played his best, he was in a very similar offense to what we run.
Yes.
So it just made so much sense for him. And what I gotta give DA and Mickey Loomis is they've worked their butt off trying to surround him with as much talent as possible. With the cap constraints that they do have. Plethora of skilled position players, a lot of competition at every, just about every position. And he's come in and looked good, man. Like Derek Carr, he looks comfortable. He talked about it last week, basically saying, like early in the summer, it was trying to learn the language, and now he feels like this is his language. He knows the offensive playbook now, but now it's about fine tuning, getting it matching with the players and really understanding the nuances. But he understands the language of the system now. And you could see it, bro. Like I'm reading the reports, it's not looking like a guy that's trying to figure it out. He's just in the game. Nick Underhill was talking about like just the deep passes he's been making. That have been just pretty and on point.
Buddy.
So it's like, nice. And you got a nice big athletic quarterback like him, bro. I'm not saying. Look, I am not saying he's gonna be like some top 5 quarterback in the league.
No.
But just like good, solid quarterback play, a guy that can affect every level of the field, a guy that can make a second reaction play here and there. Man, that's gonna mean so much for this offense, for what we've had dealt with the last couple of years.
And I would it's funny because watching quarterback and seeing like Kirk Cousins, like someone was interviewing him for something and kind of they rank, they said like, people usually rank you in, top 12, top 15, whatever, and asked him about that. And like, that's exactly where Derek Carr kind of falls, right? In that 12 range, depending on the week. But if being in an offensive system that he's familiar with weapons, but more importantly, and it goes back to the whole Trevor Penning thing, a good offensive line. If he could change that 15 to 12 to just like the 10th best quarterback in the NFL, like it would be huge. Would be huge.
Huge.
I'm gonna throw out. I'm not big on the Drew Brees and Derek Carr comparison, but I will throw out a similarity that I can kind of say this for facts. Like you're not going to hear anyone else say it. It's all a known fact that originally Drew Brees did not want to come to New Orleans. He wanted to be a Miami Dolphin and what have you. Derek Carr initially didn't want to be a Saint, bro. Like I just gotta. It is what it is. Like it was not his first choice, and I know how people are. They're like, oh, where is that ever said? Who said that? Who reported? I don't play that fucking game. When I say something like that, I know the validity of it. So the Saints were not his first choice. Like the Saints literally, like remember they did Don, and there was like that waiting and things like that. But at the end of the day, he became a Saint, and since he's become a Saint and been the Saints quarterback, he has kind of took that and ran with it and not looked back. And it's a big year for him, like you just said. Like he has to prove it. He has to show that he isn't, a backup quarterback in the league, which was a lot of evaluators or people who evaluate NFL talent within the NFL kind of thought of him after his last season with the Raiders. But seems like it's early, but he's kind of maybe well on his way of like just being 12 to 15 quarterback, which again would be huge.
Right.
See, I had something great for us. Oh, not that I don't know what it means, but the fact that like Jimmy Graham at his age is still kind of doing Jimmy Graham things like that. It's a little surprising to me, and the fact like the signing happened, and there was like that nostalgia and that just like, ooh yeah, like oh my god, like Jimmy's back. But then like it's like
Right.
Jimmy got something still left to take a little bit, bro. Like now that
I mean,
you want to
it
talk
seems
about
like it.
some things that kind of made me go like, what? Like some surprising things that, in terms of just reading some reports, that absolutely stood out to me.
Bro, for me, like anything you get from Jimmy Graham is like
Yes.
extra. It's just
Yes.
icing on the top of a cake. I mean, it's just extra because he didn't play last year.
Nope.
He was out of football last year. And prior to that, his last couple of years of his career was just kind of forgettable, like very forgettable. He was with the Bears for 2 years. Like I was like, really? I forgot. Like I remember him catching that one touchdown in the playoffs against us, and he kind of ran out the dome.
Oh,
that was the last play I remember of him. Honestly, like
completely forgot about that. Completely, it was like the garbage touchdown.
It was a garbage touchdown. He just left. He was like, bye. I thought that was it for him. So for him to be like catching passes, trucking DBs into the end zone at practice training camp in August, bro, that's wild, bro. And I'm just saying, if you getting that type of Jimmy Graham, and he's not going to do that all training camp,
of course.
But the fact that he still has that in him at his old age with the intelligence he's created over time, knowing NFL defenses,
and
he's going to be a weapon, man.
And they said it in his presser, and so did Juwan Johnson. Like now he's like the older statesman of the tight end room, which is wild.
Right. Wow.
Like he's passing the knowledge. Juwan Johnson made the Ninja Turtles comparison, and that Jimmy Graham is like Master Splinter, and it's like, damn. Like first, where did time go? Two, I think you see how football player or not, man. Sometimes like just getting older. Maturity comes with that, right? Because a big reason what led to Jimmy Graham getting traded was, even though he may have not ever said anything publicly about it, like it I guess internally the team felt like he was a very like me-like player. Like he was very worried about his stats, his numbers, his touchdown, and things happen in life, things happen in your football career where it's like, shit, just like the whole Derek Carr thing. Like I might not have this for very long. Like you could be a star for a minute and then boom, it's gone. And the fact that he's now more of like team, like how can I help my teammates, kind of around me get better, and how can we win collectively? Just shows the maturity. Anything that's kind of caught your eye thus far in training camp, or I guess we should say from training camp reports.
Oh man, a lot, man. First thing coming to mind, Jake Hayner. I watched these videos of training camp, and I just watch them, and I'm like, this is like, where did he get drafted? Was it third, fourth?
It was fourth.
The fourth round. I'm like,
yeah, because Kendre Miller was third.
Yeah, he looks better than any Saints quarterback they've ever drafted.
Got it. Yes. At
this point, easily.
Yes.
Like I could say that without question. Like he looks good. He looks exactly how you think. He's compact. He's a compact delivery. He's sudden, but he doesn't make many mistakes, man. Like he is everything I'm reading. He's just like on point. He's accurate. He's making good decisions. This is a hard offense to learn, bro.
Hard.
We've seen all these quarterbacks come in and struggle. Veteran quarterbacks come in and struggle with this offense, and he's just picking it up, man. And it's just promising to hear. I don't know what he'll be in the future. I don't know if he'll ever be a starter. But like to me, he's like on track from right now to be like QB2 next year, which is great. Like if you can get a QB2 at a cheap price in this league, that's a great thing, man. So I just find it fascinating. His career, I mean, his preseason is going to be real interesting.
It is.
He should play quite a bit. He should play quite a bit. I hope so. And it's going to be interesting to see how he does, man, because he has all the tools. He made a nice deep pass today that was just nice and pretty. And, that's not something you would think that's in his repertoire, but he's somebody that, that can get stronger. He moves well. He's making all these different passes, like, rolling out to his right and stuff like that. Like, man, this might be a nice little pick right here. So, we'll see.
I think
Kendrick Miller. Go ahead.
Only thing I'll add to Hayner is that QB2, depending on how he plays rest of training camp and rest of preseason, he might force the Saints to have an interesting decision if he continues to play well. That's all I'm gonna say, Ryan. That's all I'm gonna say.
Hey. On top of that, I mean, look, if Jameis looks good this preseason, and we already seen injuries pop up around the league. You look at Joe Burrow, he's gonna be out a couple of weeks. And it's only gonna get worse from here on out. Hopefully it doesn't touch the Saints, but you're gonna see it get worse. You can see a team calling up and say, man, look, James, they look at James' contract, it's like what, $1 or $2 million? Nothing.
Yeah. Peanuts.
A team gonna look at that and be like, hey, what y'all want? You know what I'm saying? Take a 5th round pick, a 6th round pick, whatever.
Something.
That's something you can make a move. It'd be up to Jameis, for him to okay it. I mean, he doesn't really have to okay it.
Yeah, I was like, no,
I'm sure he would jump at the bit at being a starter.
Right. You're about to talk about the rookie running back Miller.
Yeah, man. Like everything I'm hearing about him, explosive. Keep hearing explosive, great feet. Every time I watch videos of him, great feet, moves well. Him coming off that MCL, I was kind of worried.
I was too, man.
But yeah, I was really worried, and he looks good, man. I heard he popped one today. He's just showing that speed. The things I'm hearing reminds me of the things I was hearing about Kamara when he came in as a rookie. Like, man, he just keeps showing these little things here and there. I'm not saying he's going to be Kamara. I'm just saying these are the type of positive things I'm hearing. So that's just good to hear, bro. Like, you want to hear that about your rookie running back, because running backs is just one of those positions where you pretty much see it early, bro. Like, if you're not a good running back, you're going to see it early. If you have it, like if you have some of those things to succeed as a running back, it needs to pop. It's going to pop in non-padded practices, and it's really going to pop in padded practices.
Yes, it absolutely will.
Yeah. So the fact that we're hearing that and seeing that is a good thing. Another thing I keep hearing is very interesting to me is this, when we heard, about Andrews Pete getting injured today. Look, Pete gonna Pete. Pete gonna Pete. But even before that, even before that though, it's just this James Hurst talk, bro. Like Pete, I just don't feel like they went to this offseason with Pete written in pen. He's been written in pencil.
Pencil, man. Pencil.
Yeah.
I wonder if part of that is just, I wonder how much of that is his play and how much of that is his availability.
Oh, availability plays a ton, man.
Because he's been who he is since 2015, bro. Like that's we're going on 8 years of Pete, bro. We know the Pete experience. So if it's like
he's a Pro Bowl guard. I mean, we could first of all Pro Bowl, but he's a Pro Bowl guard, and he took a pay cut this offseason. Yeah. I mean, guards getting paid, bro. They getting paid. They're not taking pay cuts right now. Pro Bowl guards, and just the fact that he took a pay cut just tells you that there's stink in the water. You know what I'm saying? Because he knew he probably couldn't get as good on the open market.
On the market, I'm keep putting out, and I'm just putting out the Pete for him Renfro, bro. That's not. I want to be clear. That's nothing I've heard. That's more of it makes a lot of sense for both sides. That's all, man.
He wanted it. Goddamn it, with his injured ass. I just kept seeing that video of him walking. I just kept thinking of that picture of him walking to Razor Canes.
Razor Canes, baby. the infamous Pete gon' Pete, bro. Just
Pete, bro.
Can we talk? Just really hit on very quickly. There's motion. There's pre-snap motion.
That's what I'm hearing, man.
Did someone get the memo? Listen to an episode? Self-scout? I don't know. I'm glad, but jokes aside, I'm glad I'm hearing or reading it now, because there's no way as a functional NFL team, offense, defense, that potentially you are going to do something in a game situation that you are not doing when you practice. Just NFL teams do not operate like that. So
Don't.
if a team is not using motion in training camp, that team is not usually going to use motion during the regular season. So the fact that there's this scuttlebutt that they're using motion, players are going in motion, like that's what it's encouraging to hear, because it was extremely frustrating last season. Of we get it, right? They had Andy Dalton. It is what it was. The offensive line was kind of battered, but like you got to help your offense out, help your quarterback out. Get a like okay, I'm using him. Okay, it signals this man to me. It signals this whatever it is. Create a mismatch. I'm glad that it's being implemented during training camp.
Yeah, man. Like just seeing that. Excuse me. I was just seeing that, man. I was so happy to see that, and just looking at some of the clips, you see it. You see the motion. You see they're doing some things with the run game, bro. I'm seeing, Raheem Shaheed using the run game. I'm seeing Taysom Hill. I'm seeing all kind of players getting moved around. I'm hearing about Elvin Kamara in the run game, in the pass game, him screen passes.
I need it, bro. I need it.
I need all that, man. All that.
I need our rebrand to coincide with at least a Saints offensive rebrand, bro. Just the same time, bro.
This is a new Pete Carmichael. I need Pete to come out. This is a new me, baby.
New me. Let's hit on the defense a little bit. We don't want this episode to go too long. We are recording this Monday night to get something out to y'all on Tuesday for the rest of the week. We do have a special guest that we will be recording with on Thursday evening that we know y'all will like. But like I said, a lot of things going on this week. Personal / podcast, because a lot of it's with Dan. But we again want to make sure that y'all are in the know. We want to make sure that y'all get content. Y'all have something to listen to with training camp. Let's hit on the defense. I'm just going to say and start with, it's still very early with the whole battle at the cornerback 2 position, and it does truly seem like it is an actual competition. Don't write off Paulson Adebo. He's with the ones as well.
That boy,
It's a
that
competition.
boy playing, bro. Adebo ain't giving it up, bro. Like you going to take it from him. Adebo has been playing well in this camp, man. His coverage has been outstanding from everything I've reading, and he's been going up against Chris Olave, Michael Thomas, everybody, bro. And his coverage has been outstanding. I mean, he picked off Michael Thomas. I mean, he picked off Jameis today going against Michael Thomas, and that was just one-on-ones. Which one-on-ones, that's heavily favored to the wide receiver.
Yeah, absolutely, always.
So I mean, this dude. And look, give him credit, man. He had a great rookie year. Really excelled down the stretch. Started off last season kind of banged up, and that showed in his play a little bit. And he's healthy now, and he's playing like it, bro. He ain't playing around. And like they tell he's been playing well too. So
it's a good problem to
have.
It's
a good problem, bro. Like I'll take it. All right, I'm fine with it.
It feels like how we kind of felt. We didn't know how to feel when we got good linebacker play. Like I feel that way, kind of the same with corners. Like we went through, we went through them, bro. Jason David. Like we searched for so long, so hard for starting NFL corner, and now it's like we have 3 players that can start. It's sticking with the corners. I think you have been talking about it, or at least texting about it well, and just of the maturity that has now come with Marshawn Lattimore. Like he is a professional football player. I think a lot of that too is maybe we don't forget, but it doesn't get talked about a lot. That 2 years ago, he had that incident with the law, and which was whatever. That's a different conversation for a different day, but. That sometimes, like as a person, like that can mature you really, really quickly. And he has just been a professional football player, And barring injury, I really do think that he like wants to remind the league of how dominant and how good and elite he can be when he's at the top of
Yeah.
his game.
Yeah, because he's been somewhat of an afterthought, especially after last year. He missed 8 games.
A lot, man.
So and he just kind of like most players on this team, they've been kind of forgotten.
That's a
and
great. That should be like if I'm DA, and I don't know if he's a motivator like this. I know another coach that would have been motivated like this. But if I'm DA, that's my message to the entire team, this entire training camp, leading up to the regular season. I'm pulling AK aside and I'm showing him the Madden rankings. I'm showing him what the list of the top running backs in the league. I'm pulling Derek Carr aside and I'm showing him how many people written him off after the Raiders thought he were done with him. Like, these are like just motivational tactics. It's not even brain surgery, bro. This is just simple shit. Where like these dudes are dogs. They are like alpha males and are uber competitive, most of them. And you want to get that fire, that bravado, that moxie, where they're bringing that in training camp, they're bringing that in the regular season, and you're getting the best play out. Like, my message to them, if I was the coach, is go remind the league why we're great, because everyone does not remember who the New Orleans Saints are. Bro, I'm about to give a pep talk right here. Bro.
I'm getting hot. I'm ready.
Right? Just saying, might put me in the huddle like DeMario, bro. Like, but like, if you really break it down, that's what it feels like, and that's what the theme of is for this upcoming season. Everyone's forgotten about the Saints for good. Mostly, honestly, I get it for good reason. We have as a team, not only as a fan base, because we always rep, unfortunately. Sometimes we don't want to rep. But as a team, after last season, and even with Sean Payton, that season went as well as it was going to go. Just an afterthought, man. I put a question to you on like quite a few episodes back. I was like, bro, we like the new Tennessee Titans? Like, that's what this is like.
Kind of in that boat, bro.
So if I'm the coach, I'm amping the team up and saying, go make these dudes remember you. Like, getting talked about on Good Morning Football, on ESPN, on the podcast. Like, make them change your Madden rating, even though that's ridiculous. But anyhow, sorry, I went on a little tangent there. But I just feel like it's such an important theme of this season for a lot of players on this team, man. Marcus May, I still haven't seen a lot of Marcus May pub in training camp. Is he there? I don't know.
I've heard a little bit that he's looking comfortable. I've heard he's looking comfortable in our defense. But other than that, man, give me some picks. I need some. Show me something, bro.
Some shit.
Damn.
Anyway, let's get back to Marshawn. I apologize.
Yeah, but if you remember early in his career, he would start slow off in camp, kind of, just kind of like, I'm the man, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a game player. I don't want a practice player. I'm a game player.
Very
a lot of that. Very lackadaisical. And then the first 2-3 games of the season, he'll let a couple players go, and then he'll eventually face Mike Evans or somebody, and then he'll turn it on.
Lock in.
I tweeted like 2 weeks ago. I said I want to see him hit that kind of Stephon Gilmore stretch of his career. Where remember Stephon Gilmore with the Bills, very good player with the Bills, but kind of forgotten. Like, nobody. He's the Bills. You know what I'm saying? Like, you didn't really think about him. Went to New England, and then he just kind of progressed into just a elite dominant corner. Won Defensive Player of the Year, won a Super Bowl with him, all that stuff. I want to see him trying to get that stretch where you're not having those games where you're like, oh, well, what happened to him this game? No, just elite consistent play throughout the season. You're not going to play perfectly, but close to perfect. Get some picks, help your team, make some clutch plays. Be in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year, maybe win Defensive Player of the Year. I want to see those.
You know how hard it is to win Defensive Player of the Year as a corner, bro?
It's hard, bro. It's hard, man. It's very hard, but it's possible.
It's happened, right?
It's happened. So at least just be in the conversation. I just want to see him hit that stretch, just for his personal accolades, but Also, that comes with a team being good. Like you don't get
It
those
does.
accolades
Yep.
when you're 7-10. You know what I'm saying?
It doesn't
So,
happen. It
it's
doesn't
gonna
happen.
take for the whole defense to be good and the team to be good.
Sticking with the defense, one thing that's kind of been a huge talking point this entire season for the defense in particular is pass rush. So it's still early. Still early.
Still,
Don't want to get too excited, take anything too away from it. But just if you're reading John Hendricks and just talking just reading Ross Jackson's things pass rush, just expect me a smidge feistier. Smidge feistier. Maybe.
Yeah.
I gotta see it.
Yeah.
We as I don't even consider us uber critical. It's just as fans, we got to see it, man. We need to see it in the game. Payton Turner seems like he is having a great training camp, which is great, and I will hold off on the jokes. But if you are in a preseason game, if you're going against a backup left tackle, if you're not dominating that backup left tackle, I don't care what's happening in training camp, bro. There has to be results to what we're hearing or what we're reading.
Exactly. Same goes for everybody. Look, I mean, I haven't heard much about Foskey yet.
Right.
Haven't heard much about Brissy yet. They're rookies. We'll see. I'm not, but I want to start hearing something as we go on. I want to see something in the preseason game. I want to see something to be excited about. Zach Bone, baby, I heard he's been using the pass rush a little bit. Let's get some of that going, man. They gotta bring it, bro. The pass rush has to bring it. I've been here. Call Big Creep. Big Creep is showing up. Yeah, I mean they have guys, man. They have guys. It's just gonna be so interesting. It's kind of mirror image of the offensive line where we won't really know until live action.
Right.
Until they figure out, who they want to put on the field, and so it's gonna be interesting, man. But I feel really good about the secondary, and that secondary should help the front.
Yeah, so give them an extra second to 2 seconds can be a difference between a completed pass and a sack sometimes in the NFL. So sorry, we're back as again technical difficulties, still working out the kinks and the bugs of all the new video recording that we're doing. Before we wrap up, I did want to bring up: has this been the most competitive kicker battle that we've seen in a really long time?
Gotta be, right? Easily.
Yes.
I don't know who's winning. Bro, one day I'll see Les hitting 8 for 8. Next day, Groupie or whatever his name is, he knocking 6 for 6. I'm like, sheesh. I don't know.
Push comes to shove. If the battle is even at the end of preseason, who do you think they keep?
Probably Lutz. If it's even, it's Lutz. Yeah.
Yeah. Just strictly if it's even, this is what I'm saying. I would agree. It kind of goes hand in hand with their whole thing of they've shooken up things a little bit, but they still love their continuity. They still love that type of thing. One thing I did want to point out when we were talking about the cornerbacks as we wrap up is it is noted and kind of brought up of how we talked about Joe Woods when he got hired and how it's oh sure, but it does seem like there is a more hands-on approach with specific positional groups, just more hands-on coaching. He's definitely done that a lot with the DBs this training camp, and so that is notable. Will that mean anything at the end of the day? Who knows? But it is a difference from last training camp.
Yeah, and just the whole vibe around this training camp is different, which is I appreciate it because
it feels like
last year it was chill. It was man, we the Saints, we out chill. All we gotta do is show up. This year, I'm hearing a lot of more just the competitive nature. There's a lot of just stress on players as far as the good type of stress is. We're competing and it's quiet. It's quiet as far as nobody's looking at the Saints. They just showing up, training camp every day, grinding. grinding it out, trying to get better, and that's how I like it. Nobody watching the Saints. We ain't got Sean Payton talking the shit. Bringing
him
up.
and Aaron Rodgers feud.
Oh,
Oh my God!
I'm looking at that, bro. I'm like, man, I'm so happy we ain't got nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with it.
Can we? We didn't even talk about this because it's such a Saints thing. Like the fact that like they signed Trey Turner and like in 4 days he
was out.
Out, bro, out for the season, gone. Like
Gone.
that depth, like we talked about and will likely be needed. Like it is what it is. As a Saints fan, as Dias pointed out, like he was a depth piece, but like I think in the long run he could have been a very valuable depth piece just because of how banged up the offensive line has historically gotten throughout a season. But as it is, when you're a Saints fan, it just sometimes it is. But anything else before we wrap up and get out of here that is just kind of mindful? Also, it's good. Speaking of injuries, like besides the Trey Turner one, again, knock on wood, there hasn't been a whole bunch. Michael Thomas is still full and healthy and practicing, which is like I feel like.
Your mouth.
I'm sorry. Oh, sorry. Might have to like edit that out and post, bro.
Yeah, bro. Like seeing him, I saw him today. Like catch a back shoulder, throw it down the field, hit the ground, and he just popped up. I'm like, oh my god.
But again, right? Going back to that theme, right? No one in the NFL media thinks Michael Thomas can be Michael Thomas again, right? He's an it's the same thing, bro. Like this is the season of everyone feels like everyone. The majority of people in NFL media and maybe even in the NFL just sees the Saints and even their elite players as just afterthoughts. AK, Michael Thomas, Derek Carr, Marshawn Lattimore. Afterthoughts, bro. Like, go show them something, bro. Like, go show them something. Get them fired up. Go show them something. Anyway, that's it. We're ending it. We will be back on Thursday evening, recording with a very, very special guest. I know you guys are going to like it. Just a great person that we're having on the pod. I don't even know why it's taken this long to get this person on the pod, honestly.
Yeah.
Don't know why.
That dude be busy, bro. I just look at him like, man, I'm not about to come in here, man. That dude
grinding, Brad. Just
grinding.
But we know y'all like it. So we're recording that on Thursday. Friday, it will be up. You can listen, watch it on Friday over the weekend. But please, anyone who listens to this, who watches this, the likes on YouTube, the subscribes on YouTube, the retweets on Twitter, Instagram, like just posting it to your story, whatever it is, we so much appreciate it. It really helps out the podcast. Even if you're not a Patreon, even if that's something that you're not able to do, if you do that, if you're a supporter of us and you can do that, it means a lot to us. Please, also our affiliate podcast, Saint City, and me with Dan and Mike, and this is what it gets me. If I knew I was saying the name, I should have just watched the video before I start recording. But like I don't prep myself. See, I was about to say bro, I was about to call it like a Cubano, bro, like a sandwich. the Cubano chasers, bro.
I love the Cubanos.
The Chocopo Chasers podcast with G, Eric, and Dash, aka Mr. Foreign Objects. Please check them out if you're into video games. Like the next couple of months, video game wise, is insane with Spider-Man 2 game coming out. Starfield, I think it's called Starfield. Star something on the Xbox. Check that out. Listen to Dan. Listen to Mike in terms of like their love of the Saints and the culture of New Orleans, being in and from the UK. Just gives a very different perspective. And it's just nice just hearing that accent. I was talking to Dan's daughter Evie, and I was like, oh, it sounds like a little Adele right here, bro. Like she's about to come out of it. Someone like me about to come out of Evie, bro. They
had a really good episode recently with Max Dark Saint.
Yes, talking about restaurants, food. please, again, this is a community. Like you know, we all want to just be able to put out content that y'all enjoy, that y'all listen to. But in turn, we hope that we do enough where you want to be a part of the community and become a community. So patreon.com/Saints Block Party. If you haven't become a Patreon, it's your chance to do so now. So many things we have set up for this upcoming season. It's just insane in terms of everything we have planned. So time to become a Patreon before the season gets underway is now. Thank y'all so much for all the support. Thank y'all for being a part of us, for helping us build this community and continue to build something special. We mean that from the bottom of our hearts. We'll be back this week with a guest, and with that, we're out.
Peace.